All right, today we're gabbing with OG Real Housewives of Miami star Adriana de Moura and also the Feel the Rush singer, hitmaker, just an all-around fan favorite star. Adriana, I'm so excited to get some time with you this season. How are you?
Great. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. I'll take it.
Well, okay, Adriana, last we chatted one time before, and it was back when the show came back for season four for the reboot. And I will never forget because it was over Zoom and you were calling in on a lounge chair by your pool. And I was just like, this is the iconic behavior that I want out of Housewives. Do you
I
remember
know,
doing that?
right? Yes, I do. And it's like my favorite space because my backyard, I designed it like my little like oasis Shangri-La moment. So usually when I want to feel like relax and talk to somebody, I'll just go there. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I'll just never
like
forget
just,
that.
for a thing, it's because it's part of my real life. Yeah.
Right. So we're coming off a major episode for you in particular. It'd been like, I would say like a quote unquote quieter season for you so far, but then we have this amazing episode from you on the yachts where, you just have all these really memorable moments. I'm presuming that the reaction to that episode was pretty overwhelming on your social media.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I did film quite a bit, but I feel like there were other things that they wanted to show in the way they edited it. But so I felt like it was coming stealth mode, you know,
Yeah.
and I was keeping a lot of emotions bottled up until we get to that scene. And I feel that yeah, it was surprising to see the fans' reaction because I was overserved.
Well, I feel like obviously like a match was sort of struck when Kiki told you that Marysol had requested not to be on the same yacht as you. And as a viewer, I kind of presumed that you two had gotten to a point where you were kind of like happy to coexist. You hadn't had drama this season yet. And I'm curious from your perspective, do you know what changed to change that on her end?
No, I was in the exact same point, the same space of mind, the frame of mind that you're saying. I was like, okay, we started this season. I was not invited to her wedding celebration. So I knew they were trying to ice me out from the get go. But I was like, you know what? That's fine. Let's just let it go. And then I was actually happy I wasn't there because it became sort of shit show, excuse my French.
Yeah.
Um, but then the next encounter that we're all together was the baby showers throwing for Julia. And I, instead of retaliating back to Marysol and Alexia, I actually invited them. And I said, you know what? I'm happy you guys are here. We had great moments. We had great laughter. And I think, okay, we're good. I gave Marysol a wedding gift.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking, I'm putting my best effort forward to move forward with this, friendship. So to me, we were all good, and we hadn't had any interaction since the baby shower in the boat. So then when Kiki tells me like Marysol refuses to be on the same boat with you, but like why? She came to the baby shower that I did for
Hmm.
Julia. So I was also like, nothing happened. I didn't do anything to her. So I was just as shocked. And I guess hence my explosion of emotions and calling her whatever I called it was because I was so frustrated,
Yeah. Yeah, it is frustrating. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, there was Guerdy's whole event, and that I do sort of see sort of two sort of sides of the group maybe forming. Did you feel that during filming that there were sort of these two different sort of factions of the group forming, or was it not as clear during filming?
To me, it was not as clear. I just came in and I talked to Julia and to Russell, and then I sat on the couch, and then a couple of people sat next to me. But
Hmm.
it was kind of like a natural division that occurred, I
Yeah.
guess, unconsciously in a way. I don't know. And to me, I wasn't feeling that division at that point. I thought it was just the way parties move. Sometimes you sit here, sit
Yeah.
there, whatever. But that division came quite clear when Marisol decided to lead the mean girl conga line out of the party, and I wasn't about to follow.
Yeah.
I'm a great dancer, but I'm not gonna do the mean girl conga line. Don't count me on that. Like
You
no,
you you dance when you want to dance, you know?
I dance. Yeah. Usually on my performances in my
Right.
shows,
Right.
and
Exactly.
I get paid for it.
There we go. I mean, you mentioned sort of Alexia and Marisol. You feel like they try to ice you out. We've seen that sort of play out the past several seasons, I feel like. And from your perspective, what is sort of the core issue that Marysol and I guess Alexia too have with you? What is it?
I feel Marysol really wants the mojito, and I feel like she feels like I'm the biggest competition to get the mojito,
Hmm.
and she doesn't want that happening. And then so she'll, sabotage, undermine, plot, and scheme whatever she needs to do in order for me to stay less relevant.
And what would you say your biggest issue with her is?
It's that very sentiment. Like, we can both be relevant.
Yeah.
We can both have our moments and have our. She's funny in her own way. She
Hmm.
has her set of skills. I have mine. Just because I'm doing something that she can do, doesn't mean that I am more valuable or more relevant than she is. I think that together we'll be stronger than not. But she
Definitely.
seems to feel like she needs to put me down in order to make herself relevant. And that's
Hmm.
the essence of it all.
Hmm. I obviously there is sort of a divide forming between you and Julia this season. I presume we'll see more of that play out in the second half of the season. And you memorably said you had a memorable confessional moment where you said that you knew she was up Alexia's ass, but not up Marisol's ass. And I guess why do you think that she's so eager to be friends with them, with Alexia and Marysol? What's your point of view on that?
I feel like she's seeking power, and also, a moment of in the beginning I used to think it was just acceptance, and I used to not get offended or bothered by it
Yeah.
when it became with Alexia. But when she's now friends with Marysol, somebody who's openly and also covertly trying to undermine me and get me out of this friend group, then now that's when I realized, oh, it's more serious than I thought. To think her, like, all the way up there, little polyp, little Julia face, like,
Right.
I need to coin a new term,
You
polyp,
do.
Julia polyp, so.
Trademark it. Right.
Yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
for you it's about sort of the show, the her sort of the way she's moving with you.
It's a position, it's a strengthening position. I think in her mind, she feels like, if I get this group into this group, I'll be stronger in this,
Right.
situation, and
Right.
yeah,
Do
it's
you
a
do you,
it's a power grab move. That's what
right.
it
Do
is.
you see a connection between Julia's issues with Guerdy and your issues with Julia? Like could those be explained by sort of similar sentiments, do you think?
Definitely,
Hmm.
that to me was, it wasn't only that, but that was the straw that broke the camel back, because Julia did something in a party that I wasn't even invited to. She was very comfortable and happy being there. And, then she did something aggressive towards Guerdy through the water, Guerdy, and then expects me to go clean up the mess blindly, and I'm just here trying to be friends, be a good friend still,
Right.
because I'm not bad mouthing Julia to anybody, and not even Guerdy. And I'm just trying to, like, bring them back together instead of dividing them. Like Marysol was creating the division to go even further. I stayed behind. I wanted to see different things. I want to see both sides of the aisle and try to bring them together. And then she saw that as an offense.
Right. 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 And it's obviously, like you said, you kind of were happy to avoid the shit show at Marisol's wedding event, but um, is there part of you that also sort of wishes you could have been there to like actually see what? Because you and Lisa weren't there, so you heard about it, but you didn't see it, and I'm curious if that affected how you were able to sort of move this season, and like because you didn't see it, you only heard about it.
And I didn't see it. And it's exactly that. How can her expect blind loyalty from me for an event that I wasn't there and didn't see it until I saw it on camera? Then certain things you got to see in order to feel, like people can tell you, but it's not the same. So I was reluctant on, being, very adamant about one position, because I was like, you know what? I need to gather my evidence on both sides. I need to make a decision. And the fact that Guerdy has nothing but a good friend to me. So I also had to be fair towards Guerdy, like, and that was not good at all. I mean, like, I don't condone that type of behavior, and I didn't think it was right. So why am I supposed to be blindly defending someone that I feel like was ganged up on. And I don't like people being ganged up on, you know? So
Yeah. So what was your reaction to seeing it on TV? What when you first saw that moment, what was your reaction?
it wasn't good. It was worse than I thought it was in the beginning
Oh,
because
really?
Julia's downplaying it. Gertie's saying the way she felt, but I was thinking maybe she's in her feelings and Julia's downplaying it. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's not good, you know. But to me, the most even surprising was the fact that people just stayed quiet and nobody said anything, you know,
Yeah,
like
totally. I agree with that. And I think you hit the nail on the head in your confessional where you were like, listen, putting the receipts on a wall is actually way more benign than throwing water. And like, yeah, the receipts moment, of course, it didn't land very well and it wasn't maybe the right place, but to compare the two moments just felt sort of like a fool's errand, you know?
100%, because to me, you know, that's a false dilemma. You know, when you study and you understand that in any kind of graduate work, for example, that I'm doing, in
Hmm.
order for you to make a claim substantiated, you have to warrant it with evidence for them, for you to, you know, come to your conclusion, your assumption, your final assumption. So to me, that's just like, okay, we're now getting to the evidence here. And as I told Julia, if you have nothing to hide, she puts her receipts. Why are you so offended? Put your receipts next to her. Let's compare.
Right, right. When it comes to you and Julian in particular, obviously we'll see a lot of it play out for the rest of the season. Is the sort of kernel of that the her becoming friends with Marisol and sort of the sort of inherent maybe disrespect or disregard for you that that represents, or is there something else that we'll learn about or that you kind of feel that we haven't talked about when it comes to your friendship that sort of gave you a signal that maybe Julie and I aren't on the same page anymore?
There are things that progresses as the season unfolds, and I'll leave that a little cliffhanger so you guys watch. But yeah, it gets, you know, insult gets added to injury.
Got it. Got it. Do you feel as though, because I've noticed as a viewer sort of an evolution of Julia, does she feel like the same person to you as she was when she joined in season 4? No, you're shaking your head. No.
I feel like the show got to her head, and I feel like she's, you know, she's thinking that, you know, she's bigger
Hmm.
than life in a sense. I think the show got to her head. That's what I think it is. You know, the sweet little Julia that I met that, you know, used to tend to her animals, and it's like, where is she? I can't find her anymore. You know, actually I find her, you know, inside Marysol's column, you know.
Adriana, I interviewed Lisa a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how I feel as though your friendship, you and Lisa's friendship, is kind of underappreciated, kind of underrated, because obviously both of you had sort of have had different you know, feuds and differences with other OGs on the show. But you two have in the wake of all of that, you've been able to maintain a really strong connection as two basically OGs of the show. She joined in season 2. Why is that? Why have you two been able to maintain such a strong connection without much drama sort of affecting it?
Because it's really a real connection that has withstood the test of time. Like, you know, like she came in season 2, we clicked right away. And if you look at all the footages of reunions, every in which had, you know, any other issue with Joanna or the time or whoever else, I always had her back. Because I have a soft spot for Lisa, because we went through a lot. You know, I saw her struggling to, you know, through IVF to get her babies. You know, I always felt for her, and so, and we're similar in a ways, in many ways, and we kept in touch through the years, even when the show was in hiatus. She would always pick up the phone, call me, or always invite me. I have a big Halloween party. Make sure what are you gonna
Oh, I
wear, blah
love
blah
that.
blah. You know, like, so it's my birthday. Let's go out and celebrate. We just celebrated her birthday, you know, like a couple of days
Yeah.
ago. So we maintain that connection, and we always had that love for each other. You know,
Hmm.
so to me, I'm the type of person, like, I have friends since, you know, third grade that I maintain my
Right. Me
friendship.
too.
I'm extremely loyal, and if I love you, my friend is for life
Mm, mm.
until you do so much that then I can't then have to stand up for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we hear. some allusions to some of the graduate work that you've been doing, and I feel like I don't really know exactly what you're alluding to when you talk about that. Can you explain sort of some of the studying and some of the work that you've been doing to get you're getting a graduate degree, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm getting a master's degree at Harvard in psychology.
Wow, congrats. That's amazing.
Yeah,
How long
yeah.
does that take to do?
I'm graduating next spring.
Next spring. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and hopefully we'll see you next
I was
season. We're
about to
gonna see
say
the
we need cameras on
graduation.
that. Yes, that's amazing. That's really cool that you're doing that. I think that's really amazing.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I was just, I just came back from Harvard from campus. I spent, like doing a summer semester there, an intensive summer. Summer semesters. You have
Yeah.
class every day, and you have your exams. You have to cover
Wow.
the entire semester, worth it in like 6 weeks of summer, and it was great. I ended with an A.
Yay,
I'm on
congratulations.
the dean's
There
list.
we go. At Harvard,
Uh,
no less. Come on.
Harvard, no less. Like it's hard.
I can just imagine your Elle Woods moment next season. I would love to see
Oh my
that.
God, my first semester at Harvard, I walk in and I'm like Miami style, right? I have a Gucci backpack. And then I'm like all dolled up and I sit down in the class, of course, teacher's pet front row. And then I have my Chanel silver patent leather, silver Chanel computer holder. So I put it out proudly. I take my computer out. It was a total Woods move. And now just people looking at me like, oh my God, is there like a silver Chanel computer? And I'm like, and then I was like, oh, maybe it's a bit much.
They were feeling the rush, Adriana. They were feeling the rush that with you in their presence. I love it.
But now when I go down to the campus, I'm like, I tone it down. I have like almost close to a paper
Okay.
bag and ripped jeans and t-shirt, like
Love it.
no glam, no
Okay.
overly,
Right, right,
designer stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Um, a bit of a shift, but I did want to kind of get your reaction. Obviously, there was heartbreaking news about Leah Black's husband and that he passed away recently. What's your reaction to that news? Because you two were very close for a very long time.
I was in the middle of a woman's luncheon celebrating one of my girlfriend's birthday, and I really had to leave the table because I started bawling. I was crying and it was just came out and it was so sad, and then I
Yeah,
started calling everybody that I knew them and loved them. I called the producers of the show and I called all their closer friends. And of course, first call ever was my son to
hmm
say, make sure to reach out to RJ because it's a sad moment. And so
of
my son
course.
called RJ and called Leah, and I called Leah, left her a message, and then, sent her text, and then said, I'm so sorry, I'm here for you. Because it's interesting how even if you have years of distance, but those very moments that they are so present in my son's life and
hmm
and and each other's life that it was like a
Yeah,
really like sad moment. Yeah.
yeah. It takes you back probably to sort of that, and also something like that is so much bigger than any.
Maybe petty little issue, like
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's really nice to hear that you were able to connect in that moment. Adriana, last question. Obviously, there is a big taping coming up with the reunion. What is top of mind for you? What have you been gathering? What is an issue that you want to address sort of head on? Because I know you know how to do a reunion well.
that's my superpower.
There we go.
I don't know. I mean, most and foremost, I just speak my truth, like, but I take notes and I'm ashamed to say it because I believe in preparation. I believe that, people can twist your words so quickly and so easily. And I'm not offended by receipts, darling.
I believe that. So is Julia sort of the person that you most want to hash it out with? Is it Marysol? Is it who's the person that you want to maybe move forward with the most?
Well, in my heart of hearts, I hope everybody can move forward because, if there's no moving forward, then there's no next season, right? Like we need to be able to find some kind of a type of resolution. It's never good to get stuck, but I feel like it's also important for us to open up our hearts and really express how we're feeling and try to understand each other and say, like, you did this, and that caused this and this and that. There's cause and reaction in every action. So, like, you can't just you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pretend it didn't happen. So
Mhm.
I think it's part of the resolution is to air it out, you
Yeah.
know.
That's good perspective to have. That's really great perspective to have going into it. Well, Adriana, this has been so much fun to get your thoughts. I really appreciate you taking the time today. Good luck at the reunion, and I'm excited to see the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. Great
All
to
right,
do this
bye.
again.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye. I want to gab.